Hey guys, how's it going? Today, I'm surprised I've made it this long without talking about this, but today I'm talking about my new favorite lens. Hey guys, before we get into this video, I just wanted to let you know that I'm starting to do some live streams. I haven't fully decided whether I'm going to do it on YouTube or Twitch, but for now I'm going to be doing them on YouTube. I plan on just doing some photo and video editing, like editing these videos on stream, and you guys can kind of see how I do it, and you can ask me questions, and we can sort of just hang out and just talk about photography stuff or video stuff. So if that's something that interests you, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be notified when I go live. Okay, back to the video. So this right here is the 16-35 f4 lens with image stabilization. Now I bought this used, and this is the second version of this lens. And today I just want to talk about why I bought this lens in particular, and also why it's now my favorite. Now, it might seem like every time I buy a new lens, it becomes my new favorite lens, and that's correct. That's pretty much what happens. But this lens is actually very versatile, and I use it so often now. Now, I never thought I would get this much use out of a wide angle lens because I like to usually shoot zoomed in. When I do B-roll, I like to have more of a cropped in shot. When I take portraits, I like to have a nice blurry background. So I didn't really think I'd be using this lens as much as I have, but because of how versatile it is, I think it's safe to say this is my most used lens now. Okay, so first of all, why did I buy this lens in particular? Well, it was sort of the last piece of the puzzle as far as my lens set goes. I have lenses covering pretty much every focal range that I would use on a regular basis, except for a wide angle lens, because the widest lens I had up until I bought this one was this lens right here, which is the 24-105. And 24mm isn't really considered wide angle. So for a while I've wanted something that would give me a bit more reach. But yeah, I have a 24-105, a 50mm prime, and a 100mm prime. Those are my main lenses, and the 100mm and 50mm are great for portraits and B-roll and things like that. And the 105 is just a good general purpose lens, but I didn't have anything to cover that wide angle. So there's two main versions of this lens. There's the more expensive f2.8 version that doesn't have image stabilization, but it has a wider aperture. And then there's the one I bought, which is an f4 lens with image stabilization. Now, if I was only going to use this lens for photos, I definitely would have gone with the f2.8. And that's just because better low light capabilities and just a more shallow depth of field are two very important things for me when it comes to my photos. But because I knew I was going to be using this lens for a lot of video work, I really wanted that image stabilization. The built-in IS in this lens really helps, especially since it's already pretty wide, so there's not a ton of camera shake in the first place. The image stabilization really helps smooth out my shots, and it allows me to do a lot of work with the camera just handheld, so I don't always have to break out the glide cam and spend 10 minutes setting it up. Every vlog I've done since I bought this lens has been with the 16-35 because it's wide enough for a vlog, and the image stabilization helps me to be able to just hand hold it without it feeling too jittery. So that's the main reason I bought this lens in particular. But why is it my favorite now? Well, like I said, being able to use the lens handheld is a game changer. Not only is this lens great for vlogging, great for short little B-roll sequences, but it's also great for just this stuff because it's wide enough that I can fit all my equipment and fit my camera and everything in my little room here. And you can still see me, you can still see the background. It still captures all of this and makes it feel like, well, at least I think it kind of feels like I'm on like a nicer set than just my bedroom. And the 24-105 does a pretty good job of that too when it's at 24. But when I use the 16-35, I usually go a little wider than that. So most of my videos are shot around 18 to 20mm. Does that make anyone nervous? Doing that. This isn't particular to this lens, but one thing I really like about the L lenses is you get this little ring right here that lets you see exactly where you're going to focus. So you don't necessarily need to be looking down the viewfinder to get the right focus. So yeah, this lens is great for YouTube videos, but it's still also great for photo. Because it's not the f2.8, it's not perfect for like event photography and stuff like that, but it is still usable. I've used this at a couple events and I got some good photos out of it. This lens will also be great for landscapes. Now, I haven't done any landscape photos with it yet, but I'm really excited to, especially when, you know, traveling is allowed again. I really want to take this lens and get some sick landscape shots, because that wide angle can make things look just perfect. And yeah, those are the main reasons why I really like this lens. That 16 is super wide, 35 is zoomed in enough that I can use it for other things. The image stabilization is just cherry on top. All of that combined makes a pretty cool lens. Now, would I recommend you buy this lens? Well, that completely depends. Now that I'm at the point where people are actually watching my videos, to some extent, I get questions about like what gear to use or like what to buy for this or what to do for this, which for one is kind of funny because I don't consider myself to be qualified to answer those questions whatsoever. I do my best anyways, but just please don't take my advice as like gospel, because I'm just doing my best. If it isn't obvious, I haven't been doing photography professionally for that long, so I don't really have so my opinion is completely different from some guy who's been professionally shooting for 30 years and owns a whole locker full of gear and stuff like that. Basically what I'm saying is I'm happy to answer your questions, but please don't take my answers as gospel. So would I recommend this lens? If you're trying to get into video and you want an upgrade from like a kit lens and you know you're going to be doing getting some wider shots, then yes, I would definitely recommend this lens. It's fantastic to use. It is expensive. It is a Canon L lens. So if you're not ready to get into the sort of professional lenses, then there are definitely cheaper options for you. And if you have a crop sensor camera, you can always get the Sigma 18-35 f1.8. That is a great lens. I've used that before. Unfortunately, it doesn't work on full frame cameras, and I have a full frame camera, so that kind of sucked, but it is what it is. This lens, like all of my gear, will be linked in the description of this video, so you can click on it, go to Amazon and take a look at it. While you're down in the description, you can also find my social media links to my Instagram and Facebook page. I post on both of those regularly, so you can follow me there. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. You can subscribe for more. Leave some comments down below. I read all my comments. Also, don't forget to check out my live streams. I will be trying to do more of those, so look out for that. I'll see you guys in the next video.